What game is that? Oh, just Pope Turtle, whatever. All right, welcome to episode 183 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Powers, and joining me this week, we have our usual three guests. We have Chase.
Hello.
Stephen.
Good day.
And of course, me, as I said already. So, it's been a surprisingly busier week than I thought it would be. We had more notes to do than I initially anticipated. So I thought it was going to be a slow week, and it's like, no, you have things to talk about. So let's dive into this crap because we've got some things to talk. But first off, we're going to go into what we've been doing, and to start that off, Chase, what you been doing? What's been up?
Been playing Soul Reaver Remastered.
Ooh,
really enjoying.
I'm
that
jealous
game.
because I'm still waiting on mine.
Yeah, I just got past the Melchiah boss, and I'm
Nice.
a little bit further on past that. But yeah,
What are you playing it on?
PS5.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Like, it's pretty much like I love Legacy of Kain games as it is anyway, and so for me, it's just like, oh yeah, this is all just kind of coming back to me, like as I'm playing through the stuff. I kind of hope that they do something similar for the Kain games, but I don't know if we'll see it or not.
We can hope. I would not say no to more of those.
Been playing Stated K2 still, picking it up, but I've been haven't really been playing the main stuff because I've been grinding the Daybreak game mode, and the reason why is because there's certain things that you can get in the normal game if you grind it enough, and you get access to a couple of facilities and things that I'm hoping to get. So I been doing that. It is awful. But it hasn't been too bad. Like, it would be absolutely awful if it wasn't for, thank God for modders. Like, because you get into some lobbies where you got a couple people that are like modded, like have like modded things out, and like they've got basically like unlimited ammo and stuff, and I'm just like, sweet, you guys just do whatever you want, just get me the wins so that way I get my stuff. Awesome.
I'm just here for the stats. I don't give a shit about the rest of it.
I'm just here for the gifts, for the free gifts. That's all I care about. Nice. So that was cool. And then last but not least, Battlefield 6 Open Beta has been out. Played it like a ton last night. Yep, this is what I've been waiting for. Nice, fun multiplayer shooter.
I forgot that was on, and I forgot to download it, so I guess I'll have to wait for the next one if we get another one.
Oh, it's still on right now. It doesn't close till the end of Sunday. So I played I think there's only I've been playing the breakthrough mode because that's always the mode that I've enjoyed with Battlefield, and I've been playing. They've got two maps. So they've got one map which is more urban, and then they have another map that's quite a bit more open, like you're in like a mountainous area, quite a bit more open. And so obviously that one, it's kind of like the two maps that they chose I think are quite nice because it gives you a bit more of a idea of like, or it plays to certain classes' strengths a little bit better. So I'm enjoying it. Honestly, the gunplay, the what you can do in the game is quite good. So I'm really enjoying it.
Nice. I guess if I get in on that, while it's still running, we can hop in there together at some point or mess around with it. I'm interested in trying it at least.
How many gigs is it?
Yeah, that's a good question too.
I don't actually remember.
I mean, if it's wanting to be competitive with Call of Duty, it needs to require at least 200 gigs.
And Activision already said they're not worried about Battlefield because Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is the biggest game ever.
Yeah, I think they need to step up their game a little bit.
Yeah, they need to be humbled just a bit, just to kind of keep doing it. Because Black Ops 6 was good. I really enjoyed it. It's one that I like when we go back and play it. I know we mostly stuck to zombie mode, but that was fun. It legitimately was. But I'm worried they're not going to be doing as many updates or anything for it because now they're focused on wanting people to get 7. And I was really hoping after the Microsoft stuff, they would stick to every other year to give them time to make things and actually work on it. And it's like, all right, we're right back into the rush again. It's like,
well, they just added Beavis and Butthead.
That's not what I know I want. That's not the update I was hoping for. So, all right. Well, Steven, what you been up to?
Believe it or not, played ZZZ.
Shocking.
Gave them another $5-10 of my money because new month, new season, got to give them more money. Keep the ball rolling. Finally into the daily checkups, so it's good.
Chase, you and I need to figure out an intervention for him.
Relax.
Still saving him.
Something we'll cover later, but a lot of shadow drops happened during a indie direct, so I got to try out Mina the Hollower on Switch 2, which is coming to that as a native version as well. Has 120 frames per second mode.
You almost said hertz.
Does work on my TV. Looks really good, plays really good. Music, of course, is really good. I like in the beginning you kind of get to pick a weapon to establish your fighting style, whether you want like 2 daggers or you want a whip. I picked the whip because it feels like I'm playing like a Castlevania game now in the style of Link's Awakening, so it's kind of nice. Or a giant hammer, and they all have their special moves and stuff. So I don't know when the demo stops, but I'm still going strong with it.
Nice.
Which is now the next game is number 1 on the eShop now for Switch 1, and Switch 2 doesn't count because they separate them. But it's UFO 50 finally coming out. That thing was built for the Switch. Came out on Steam first. Basically, it is extremely retro. When you first start it up, it kind of just shows a pixelated version of somebody getting a storage unit and opening it for the first time. And he finds a computer that says play forever, like a big system. And basically you have 50 games that you dust off and you start playing. And think of WarioWare, but not micro games, but like almost full-fledged games each one, like if it was made on NES within those limitations. Oh, wow. Only uses 2 buttons. Each of them has even sequels in there I haven't gotten to yet, but it's cool because you click on each one, you dust it off, and you start playing it right away. They are all brutally difficult in their own way, so you can die really quick and be like, okay, I'm going to move to the next game until I can get used to playing that one.
I know you haven't tried it yet. We talked about it earlier, but I really want to know if I want to use the NES Joy-Con controllers.
I'm just because sure it will, because it uses so many control options when you start it up. It even tells you can use this, you can use that, you can use this. So I was like,
it just feels like an appropriate controller to use with this game because it's all NES era for what it's doing.
But yeah, that's doing really well. And if you think it's just a lot of mini games, it's not. There's actually a point and click game in there somewhere. The first ones I played, one was kind of like a side scroller, like Son, a Capcom arcade game that came out.
Mm-hmm.
Another one played like a strategy game where you had to move around. You had to use cards to attack. There's a real-time strategy one in there, and these are all built on NES limitations, so they're neat. Also, I got in recently the 8-bit music collection. They originally made these as NES cartridges, but they released a collection on Switch that I got. It was not part of the limited run collection. It was a separate, we'll ship it as soon as you order it type thing. So I got that, and it basically takes like 36 composers from all over gaming, and they just all submitted their music. They're all done within the confines of an NES hardware. And then there's 2 mini games you can play on there just for a high score that lets you listen to their music, which is nice. So that was not really a big game per se. It's just more to enjoy the music and the presentation. Plus, it came with a soundtrack. So, getting ready for Drag X Drive this weekend. It is going on right now. It's going to go on tomorrow as well. It's very weird. Nintendo's not telling you who developed it, but they're allowing you to play against the developers. But they're calling them mystery developers. I'm like, okay. So I was like, and some of the lobbies are really interesting because from what people are saying, while you're waiting to connect to a game, you can actually see 2 other games in real time playing out with real people.
Okay.
So you can just see it in the park. So, I got to see Weird Al in concert on Tuesday.
I hate you.
I'm
so jealous.
Tour. It was really weird because in the first time he did not play a parody for one of his songs. He played a George Harrison song, which I was like, okay.
Really?
So I was like, all right. And everybody thought he did a great job with that. But I was like, okay, that's new because usually I'm expecting, okay, if he plays this song, it's the end of the concert. Nope, he switched it up. So that was good.
Okay.
And then lastly, Video Games Plus had a sale last weekend, and they had a bunch of cheap games for sale for Switch. So I decided to beef up my library because I don't have enough games. One good
I'm
game.
never going to catch up.
one good game, and the rest should be bad. So let's see. So we have Azure Striker Gunvolt, the trilogy enhanced.
Oh, nice.
So that's all 3 games. Before they only made a Striker pack, but now I can sell that one. It all goes downhill from here, folks. We got Kataria Legends, which is kind of like a farming, fighting sim.
I think I've heard of that one.
It's got local co-op. Then we got Jeremy's Game of the Year. We got Star Trek Prodigy Supernova.
I need to get that version. I have it on Xbox.
I think you said it was horrible, so I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's not the greatest, but it's whatever.
I got Chris excited to play Baby Shark Sing and Swim Party.
Oh my god.
And part of the series, we have Gigantosaurus Dino Kart and Gigantosaurus Dino Sports. Play with dinosaurs.
Why would you do this to yourself, man?
Obviously, hours of fun. It's got 4-player split-screen multiplayer. It's going to run great on Switch 2.
Oh, yeah, no. That's terrible. Oh, man. All right, well, for me, still playing Donkey Kong Bonanza. I'm over 500-something bananas in on this, getting towards the end of the game, I hope. I've gotten up to the level where everything's made of food, and you're doing a lot of stuff, which is kind of nasty when you're digging through a burger, because that means you're just technically tearing through meat, and it's flying everywhere, but, whatever. But the game is still fun. I'm still enjoying it. Hoping I can wrap it up here within the next couple of days at least, because it's one of those, like, I've played it so much, I kind of want to play some other stuff now. But if I leave, I'm not going to come back because I'm terrible about that. But beyond that, I finished the show Evil, or I thought I did, and I thought it ended on one of those little cliffhanger endings, and they just stopped, and I saw stuff about it being canceled and was like, well, damn it. It was kind of interesting, and I wanted to see it continue. And in a fun twist of fate, I found out it did continue. The last season is only on a completely different streaming service. So I found that on as an accident going, oh, cool. There is a last season. They apparently had to kind of rush it to put everything together to finish things out, but I can at least finish it. So that's nice. Because I hate watching a show when it just ends and you're just like, cool, what happens next? Nothing. They got canceled. And it's like, God dang it. Like, why? Because I can't really look to find out how it ended, because half those damn articles don't say if they finish. They tell you the ending. Like, they spoils things. So make it hard to do. We've been watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds since the 3rd season started up here recently. Haven't seen the very last episode. Probably going to watch that tomorrow night. But the previous one was one called A Space Adventure Hour, which is an absolutely hilarious kind of self-hit or self-take on the history of Star Trek in Star Trek, where they have, they've kind of combined that as well as early holodeck shenanigans, which plays out kind of nicely in how it fits in the timeline. Like, why do they have this that early, and why do we not see it afterwards, and kind of what happens? But I thought it was fun. You get to see a lot of the people kind of play outside their normal roles, being, all these other wacky characters as things happen. And then lastly, I did finally get my first issue of Game Informer. It took forever for it to show up. But it did finally get here. They sent an email out to everybody asking like, hey, did you get your magazine? If you didn't, fill out this stuff, which I did. And apparently they're sending me a second copy of the first issue now. Because they even said, even if your other one shows up, you're still going to get another one. It's fine.
You gotta keep it sealed.
Yeah, I haven't opened this one yet, so we'll see. But they were saying it's something with, I guess there was a hiccup in the shipping, and they were all being held somewhere, not being sent out. So a bunch of them never got sent out to people, which is what happened with mine, happened with Rachel's and other people we talked to that, I think she finally got hers, but she'll be getting a second issue as well, which I'm glad they at least were willing to try and fix it. And kind of go from there. And then lastly, in my weird games I've been getting recently, I found, this isn't really a game, but I found a cleaning disc for the Wii U. Because I have a complete North American set, and I was like, I don't have a cleaning disc. Let's just add that ridiculous shit to it. So it even still has the cleaning fluid. Which I'm pretty sure it probably doesn't do anything. Like, the disc itself is like these rings. You can see the little brushes on there that you wet and all that stuff. I love how it warns that is for the Wii, not the Wii U. Or for the Wii U, not the Wii. Not to do that. I plan on scarring my kids by finally showing them Vampire Hunter D. I got a hold of a copy of that on DVD, which I have not seen in forever. So that should be a fun time to watch. I'm not going to let Jennifer watch that one, though. Nope. Not happening. And lastly, I talked with Steven about this one earlier. I finally found a copy of Bakaru. So I'll be trying that this week as well, because I've always enjoyed the Goemon games. And I've heard good things about this one kind of being a spiritual successor. It runs
60 frames on Switch 2, and it all the collectibles basically give you trivia and teach you about Japanese culture, which is nice.
I'm down for that. Why not? We'll learn a little bit. Who knows? All right. Well, now that we've gotten through that, let's go over to our group chat. So for the group chat, once again, as we've been doing recently, we're still working our way through Zombie Army 4. Just shooting lots of zombies and absolutely just kind of hunting down that damn running around hand. We have found him in so many weird little places.
Yeah, we finally had a level where we just had to hold the fort down.
Mm-hmm.
And it made it so a lot of us got really big combos too. So
I was going nuts in that one. I think I got like over 100.
Like, they gave me achievement for not missing 50 shots. So I was like, cool.
I think I got that one too for like so many. I think it was like 10 headshots in a row, and then there was some other ones as well.
Yeah, this one was just kill 50 zombies without missing. I was like, cool. Don't have to worry about that one anymore.
I kept using the rocket launcher too, because I was just racking up explosives, and then I just got to the ground floor while you guys were dealing with upstairs, and I'm just running circles, shooting things, trying not to die.
The game still has some glitches, either.
Oh, yeah.
Changing where we shoot, even though we shot their head, we didn't shoot their head, stuff like that. It still takes it as a kill, but other people are like, you shot his foot, you shot the ground. So it's still doing that, and it still randomly kicks me, but leaves you guys in there. And yeah.
Yeah, he keeps popping up saying, like, Nintendo has left the game, or...
Like, I'll be staring at Jeremy, and it'll be like, he stopped playing. I was like, why did you stop playing? You're still moving.
Yeah, it says it for everybody, I think.
Yeah, it's been a weird one, so we'll have to see on that one. But I don't know. We'll continue it. There's still a bunch of gameplay to go. This is a much, much longer story than the previous ones.
We found out how to switch the voices so everybody doesn't sound like the original Sniper Elite guy saying, like, guns here.
God,
kid here. I was just like, I need to sound like somebody else so bad.
I'm still playing as the old guy from Left 4 Dead, but now he has this like ridiculous German voice, and it just sounds so weird. Does not sound even remotely like I think that guy would. So, who knows? All right, well, I think that pretty much covers that, so we'll go ahead and jump into our news of what we got going on this week. So once again, it's, another show and another cancellation from Microsoft. So Microsoft has canceled Contraband from Avalanche Studios. No. This is the makers of the Just Cause series. It's not a good sign that we see that they've canceled the game, and that's how we remember the game was in production. Because I forgot completely. This thing was announced in 2021 as a co-op heist shooter with a CGI trailer, and then we got absolutely nothing for the last 4 years at all. Avalanche Studios released a statement saying, quote, "Over the past several years, Avalanche Studios Group and Xbox Game Studios Publishing have collaborated on Contraband. Active development has stopped while we evaluate the project's future. We're thankful for the excitement we've seen from the community since we announced, and we'll give an update on what's next as soon as we can."
Where is this community coming from?
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people were like thinking this was the announcement and cancellation at the same time. That was fantastic. Oh man. So this, of course, this is coming a short time after Microsoft's latest round of massive layoffs and cancellations, which included like Perfect Dark, Everwild, closing of the initiative, things like that. I kind of get this one. I mean, there was nothing being shown from it, and people are wondering how much work did they actually do on this?
All they said was it was co-op open world heist shooter, and everybody's like, okay.
I believe that could be fun, but you got to at least talk to us. Tell us something. Show us what's being done, I
was like, Just Cause 2 or 3 already has the multiplayer mod on PC. Let's play that.
Yeah, that was a game that never had co-op that should have had co-op.
Yeah, and luckily on Steam, they made it have co-op, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, it's just kind of funny that, it's yet another Microsoft game that's down. We'll have to see when the hell that actually shows up. All right, let's go into our next little bit here. So, speaking of Microsoft, Microsoft, Bethesda, id Software, and Night Dive Studios have announced released Heretic plus Hexen for Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and PC, which I'm looking into this one, but it's $15, or it's free on Game Pass if you're paying for that. But if you already have the game on Steam, you get both of these for free as well. That's just an upgrade, which I like when they do that.
And there will be a physical version from Limited Run.
Ooh, cool. I was wondering about that.
They announced it the same day with like 4 different collector's editions, so good luck.
Oh, God. My wallet's never going to recover. So, on top of the main game, this includes Heretic, Shadow of the Serpent Riders, Hexen Beyond Heretic, and Hexen Death Kings of the Dark Citadel, which are some metal-ass names for levels like this. And then the collection includes the original DOS versions, which I thought was hilarious. I guess if you have on PC, you can just run a DOS box and run it, or it's just adapted for it, which would be kind of funny. So, of course, as many prior Night Dive Studio games there's a list of a lot of the updates. So a few standouts, it's going to have online cross-platform deathmatch and co-op up to 16 players. Local split-screen deathmatch and co-op up to 8 players. So get ready to play on that tiny N64 player size screen. New optional Tome of Power soundtrack by Andrew Holshut. Mod support with in-game mod browser. It's 4K, 120 FPS, and widescreen where supported. So that's pretty much going to be PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Switch will probably just run at 60, and that'll be it. Vault section with concept art and unused sprites from both games' original developments. And that's something I always like to see. When they added that into Doom, when they did this, I spent a bunch of time going through that and just seeing development stuff, which was great. Modern updates including controls, UI, improved legibility, visual options, and text-to-speech features. And lastly, they did have an original or enhanced game balance toggle. So if you thought the game was too damn hard, you can adjust it a little bit.
Yeah, the original and even the sequel have been known to, what people hated was there's a lot of enemy sponges, bullet sponges. So this makes it so you can turn on enhanced weapons, so your weapons do more damage, so they can actually defeat them in a normal amount, so you're not like having to keep restart. And for the legibility part, they actually made it you can use the original old style lettering they used, or you can just use like computer HD font, which is much easier to read.
Yeah, I can imagine. Chase, you a fan of Hexen or Heretic at all, or ever mess with them? You're muted.
He's got nothing to say.
He's just quiet.
I've never messed with them, so yeah, I've got nothing really to add
I'll
to
probably
that.
get them, but knowing how cheap the original Dooms and stuff got, I'll just wait for a sale, and
Yeah. I
and
want
then
to.
when, and
Oh,
then
go
when they
ahead.
have a good time for the physical to come out, I'll be like, all right. But if the same thing happens that happened with the original Dooms, where you cannot get the upgrades if you own the limited run games version, so if they like do another update to it, I'm kind of hesitant now. So
Yeah, I still got to look more into that. That just seems very weird because most of the time the physical and digital releases usually get treated the same. So it's kind of odd that they're doing that. But that's the first I heard of it was when you told me about it earlier. Because I think I already had the Doom collections digitally before I even got the
same.
physical cartridges. So that's what I usually mess with. Just because they're there and I can play it. So yeah, we will see and kind of go from there. All right, let's move on. So during a Q&A session recently with investors, Sony Senior VP Sadahiko Hayakawa stated that the PlayStation is moving away from a hardware-centric business model more to a platform business that expands the community, or kind of moving away from the hardware-centric business. I started reading another part like an idiot. He was quoted as saying, "In the gaming business, we are moving away from a hardware-centric business model more to a platform business that expands the community and increases engagement." So this has led to a lot of people kind of wondering if they're going to do like Microsoft did and start putting their games everywhere else, which we have talked about recently with, they have a position that was for doing that they're hiring for. And then to continue, they had talks with Sony Chief Financial Officer Lin Tao, who went to talk about their live service model during the Q&A, stating, quote, "For Q1, the live service ratio is about 40%. For the full year, it's a little less, probably between 20 and 30%. So in terms of the transformation, it's not entirely going smoothly. But from a longer term perspective, if you look at the changes over 5 years, you see that there's definitely been a change. Of course, you recognize that there are still many issues, so we should learn the lessons from mistakes and make sure that we introduce live service content where there's less waste and it's more smooth." Which, for some reason, is I'm still trying to push the damn live services after everything that's happened. Do you guys think Sony's ever going to ease back on that, or are they just going to keep trying it over and over again until they make it work?
Yes, they're gonna just keep throwing shit at the wall until it sticks.
Ugh.
They recently said that they're absorbing Bungie, so Bungie will be no more soon, and it'll be just another PlayStation Studios ready for the cutting when they need to.
Oh man,
No more independence, Bungie. Sorry, you had your chance. Marathon's not out yet.
I have very little hope for Marathon as soon as
Marathon's
they,
Concord too, and as far as I'm concerned.
because I thought Marathon originally, like before all the updates, was just going to be like it originally was, which was a predecessor to Halo, kind of a an actual first person shooter, like getting back into their roots. And I was like, cool, that'll be good
Yeah,
to see Bungie do
I
that.
even played those on Xbox 360 Arcade, and they were great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the camera was a little wonky. I think it's the first time I ever got kind of nauseous playing because the way the camera just snapped around when you'd run. Ugh. You ever mess with those, Chase? Have you ever playing back on the 360 at all?
Nah, not the old marathons. But I think part of this is probably coming from the fact that they're seeing like probably what's happening over in Microsoft land, where Microsoft was being quite hands off. They're taking kind of this hands off approach with the developers, and we're starting to see like Perfect Dark was in development for what, like 7 years with like nothing to show for it. This just one that they canceled. Nobody even remembered that it was a thing because nothing was being shown for it for the time it's been around. I would even argue that Everwild, probably like that game was in development for like 10 years or some ridiculous amount of time, and they didn't have anything to show for it. Like,
I think also it's the fact that Sony's like, so what's the best selling games on our system? Xbox games. What do you mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
I just think that Sony's probably like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't just give Bungie just like a blank check to just do whatever they want. Like, they need to be reined in a little bit.
Yeah, they keep stealing other people's artwork. Yeah, in regards to like Everwild and stuff like that, Microsoft just completely dropped the ball on Rare. Like them buying them, I'm not sure much good ever came of it that actually benefited them or anyone else. If they had stuck with what they were originally doing, imagine what we could have gotten, you know?
Imagine if Rare was just allowed to make Rare games and not just Everwild garbage.
I mean, Everwild seemed interesting. It seemed like the first Rare type thing that they've been doing for a while.
I know, but I think they lost their way because they were cornholed into, you're going to work on Kinect only for a while. You're the Kinect people. And that hurt them bad.
What were you going to say, Chase?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that Microsoft necessarily was the one that told Rare to make Everwild. I think they pitched Everwild as like this fever dream idea that was going to be this. I think they needed grandiose
something to look so good that Microsoft would be like, okay, and not just make Viva Pinata 3. So it's like, all right.
Yeah, but the problem is that it's like
Viva Pinata.
And it's kind of like with the Avalanche one too. Like part of the thing that I have is that it's like, this is where transparency comes into play. Like, be transparent with how these games are coming along, and then you're holding yourself accountable, and you're also like showing people like, hey, this is what's happening. Like, this is how things are coming along.
Making a game?
Yeah, that's. I think a lot of these people were just like milking the Microsoft cow for all it was worth, and then Microsoft's coming around and saying, what have you done in 4 years?
I thought they just made CG trailers. I didn't know they made games.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think... Yeah,
which, I mean, that's the same worry I have about State of Decay. I'm like, can we get some... I don't care if it comes to PlayStation. I just want it to come out. Like, show me gameplay of State of Decay 3. Let me know it's alive and it's doing something.
Yeah.
State of Decay 2, as fun as it is broken in so many ways. Like, it's so glitchy. Yeah. But... I don't know. So yeah, these Sony's PlayStation, their statements come after Sony has moved to release more of their first party titles on PC at a faster pace. And like, you know, I mean, we're getting Helldivers 2 on Xbox the end of this month, which is still a trip. Like, I'm going to end up getting it just so we can play. I don't have to sit here at my computer desk. I can sit in there on the Xbox and play with you guys and see how it goes.
It's unfortunate it's not cross-save though.
Yeah, I'm going to have to start all over again, which means I have to rebuy certain things. I'm going to be so stingy with that shit now. That's too much money. But they tried to talk about their main live service titles, which they listed Helldivers 2, which is a good one. I think, you know, we complain about the amount of DLC it has, but there's pretty solid gameplay and they are adding stuff. So, you know, hopefully they've course corrected. MLB The Show, which I didn't even realize was a live service game. It's just their yearly sports title. Gran Turismo 7, which is part of why I didn't like that one, because they relied way too much on being a live service. Like, without internet, the game becomes a glorified bad demo. Like, that's not a good design for that.
Are you saying it's a game key disc card?
It's worse than that. Like, God, that serves a purpose.
It's still a good game, though.
Oh, I'm sure it is. It's just I don't like the fact that if the internet ever goes down, even if you bought it digitally or physically, you just have one mode and that's it. And you don't even get your purchases, which is weird. And then lastly, Destiny 2, which that was already a success before Sony bought them and has just kind of kept it on life support a little bit, made some changes. And then, of course, as Steven already said, they're gutting Bungie. So how good is that doing? But they did kind of leak out that they're still suffering from the Concord costing somewhere between 200 to 400 million, because estimates go in both directions. They're not being clear about it, but they only brought in 1 million before it shut down.
Yes.
So that is a massive loss. So, yeah. And I mean, Concord, like, we give Concord shit, but they had a game and they released it. That's more than we're seeing for some of these other ones. We saw more Concord than we did Contraband. I mean, I can't fault them.
Babylon's Fall lasted longer than Concord, though.
No shit. So, I don't know. We're going into a brave, strange new world where Sony and Microsoft are just going to be cross-pollinating their games, and Nintendo's just going, nah, we're good.
And you go into brick and mortar stores, and there's just a Nintendo section, and that's it.
Yeah, we're gonna raise a whole new generation that's gonna call every game system a Nintendo, just like our parents did. It was Atari, then Nintendo, then everything else. So, all right, let's go on to our next little bit here. So, speaking of Nintendo, we have the Nintendo Indie World Showcase, and this is kind of alluding a bit towards the end, but I kind of liked this direct a lot more than the last one. I had more stuff I actually kind of enjoyed. I meant to ask earlier, Chase, did you watch this yet?
Nope. Didn't even know there was one.
I meant to send you that. Well, you're going to find out in real time. So starting off, we
good shit in there.
There actually is. There's actually some really good stuff.
Some of these are coming to other systems, so don't.
I'm gonna be the resident pessimist in that regard because I think Swan's a little bit biased.
What am I? I'm a lot biased. Anyways, So Mina the Hollower, coming from Yacht Club Games, the people who gave us Shovel Knight and so forth, coming out October 31st for Switch 1 and 2. This is basically, as best I can tell, their take on the Game Boy Color Zelda titles, which is awesome. You play as a little mouse. The game looks fantastic. There's a demo out now, so you can go play it with a 120 FPS mode. I was going to say 120 hertz because that still counts, but it confused Steven. And I thought that was hilarious. No problem on that. It was just, I don't even think about it. I just refer to it as hertz as the refresh rate for the actual screen refresh when talking about that from an engineering standpoint. And Steven's like, why did you put hertz? Did you meant to put FPS?
Well, because if you go in the game, there's no hertz mode. So people are like, he said there's hertz mode. You're going to get those people. So we got to report it as it's displayed on screen.
You're not wrong. People will be that dumb.
I'm trying to find the Kickstarter campaign for this game. Where is it?
Yeah, this one actually just came out. Amazingly, there's no Kickstarter.
They didn't need one because they got all the money from Shovel Knight.
Well, you could have said that about like the last 5 editions of Shovel Knight, but then they still were putting stuff on Kickstarter.
Yeah, but they hoard out Shovel Knight to everybody, so they made their money.
No kidding. I think we even have a Shovel Knight board game here at my house somewhere. Like, they're everywhere. So, I don't know. This one does look really good. I have the demo downloaded so I can play it, but I'm 100% if it comes out with a physical, which I believe, Steven, you said it is, or
I don't
should.
Know.
I mean, it's Yacht Club Games.
They'll probably be, like Chase said, there'll probably be like 3 or 4 editions, like, so don't worry.
Watch it be a damn key card.
There'll be a treasure trove version, there'll be a DLC included version, and then
stretch goals.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think how many copies of Shovel Knight do I have? I have it on Wii U, 3DS. I have it twice, I think, on Switch. I have it on PC. I'm trying to think what else it came out on. I think
it's only worth really getting for if you don't have the Switch or Nintendo versions.
Mm-hmm.
Then the only other ones worth getting are the PlayStation and Xbox ones, so you get the extra levels. You get Battletoads and you get God of War.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, there was a lot of Shovel Knight. Chase is not wrong. Like, I even have the amiibos, for God's sakes. Both sets of them, the normal, the gold, and the other guys. So, I don't know. This is what I'm looking forward to. We get it October 31st. So, all right, let's go on to the next little bit here. So, we had Well Dweller from Top Hat Studios coming 2026, which is a Metroidvania style game where you play as a little bird with layered, almost paper art style. It looked nice. I like a good Metroidvania, so I'm kind of curious to see how this one goes. Do you guys, or Steven, do you have any thoughts on this one, or?
Nope, it's just going to be a 6 out of 10 and get lost in the fold.
Damn. Well, I mean, he's telling how it is. Just basically
Screw you, buddy.
Right at that game.
What's with like everything being like you play as animals though? Like we're going into the shift where like the main characters are all animals again. It's like the furries are just happy, I guess, but like
it's cute. You wouldn't understand, Chase.
Hey, furries are very peaceful yet kind of horny people. I don't know. Just like
you said it, not me.
I mean, everyone I've met that's a furry has at least been nice. A little weird sometimes, but they've been nice. They come on a little strong. You never know.
You can find him on X, Blue Sky, under Zenspath for any comments you want to put his way.
I said they weren't bad people. It's fine. Oh, God, you're going to get me yelled at. Or get myself yelled at. Whatever. All right, so we had Neverway from Cold Blood Inc. coming 2026. This was kind of a farming simulator mixed with survival horror. The only thing I didn't really like about it is this, like a lot of indie games go with this very muted, minimal color style, and it seems like I get what they're trying to do to make it feel kind of sullen for that design, but when you get to that level of detail for the pixel art, like some color would be nice. Like it gets very bland where they just kind of blanket it all. Like it's not an actual Game Boy game. Like you can have colors. It's okay. Everything looked nice at least. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to play this one or not. Steven, what about you? I know you love your farming games.
6 out of 10.
Lost to the fold.
I about to say he's already going to forget about it. Oh God. Next up, we had Herdling from Akamotive coming August 21st, which is literally just a game about herding creatures. The environments look really nice. Graphically, it was pretty. I don't know how much fun this game would be. I guess it's going to kind of depend on how much exploration you actually get to have. More. Yeah. I kind of looked it up. It had some more trailers for it, but I need to understand more of what they're doing. I think this is one of those games that would benefit from watching somebody like maybe stream it for a little bit to like see the first level, how it works. If this
is like real life Pikmin, then I'm in.
Yeah, it didn't seem like you had direct control over the animals. You had to literally kind of herd them and work your way through paths or maybe figure it out, which could be fun. Like that's puzzles for exploring environments and finding ways to get through it. I don't know if you can kill your stuff off on accident or, try and make it to the end with as many alive as you can.
I guess that if they follow you.
Yeah, it's like that's more of a 3D Lemmings at that point, I guess. Who knows? All right, so this next one here is basically just an excuse for Is This Seat Taken from Wholesome Games Presents Potty Studios. Available now for the Switch 1. And this is a game that really, really, really needs some mouse controls. It looks like it was designed with mouse controls, and I think you said the developers even said it was designed with that.
Yeah, the Steam version is designed with mouse controls in mind, but they knew Switch was a good platform to have it, and they said like it was always an idea to have it on Switch too, but until they have dev kits, they can't do that.
Yeah, Nintendo has had a problem with getting development kits out there.
I just need to hear a story one day that dev kits are going out there, because then I will look forward to more directs being like, oh, there's a lot of stuff being worked on now because everybody has dev kits.
Yeah, I think only like 2 or 3 games in this whole thing were really designed specifically with a Switch 2 version as well as a Switch 1.
Because hearing stuff like Marvel Rivals and Warframe would already be on Switch 2 if they had a dev kit. It sucks.
Yeah, Nintendo got a little... I don't know if maybe that's an issue where like they put out Switch 1 dev kits and they leaked for different places, and that kind of led them to not do that as much with the Switch 2. But on the flip side, I think it's biting them in the ass.
Like making everything more expensive, so I don't know.
Touche. So who knows on that. This game looks really funny. I love the concept of it, of you're moving people around on different seats or places and messing with the environment to try and make everybody happy. So like if a certain person's like, well, I want to sit, what was it I saw? Like I need more light. So they put them by a table that's got a lamp, and then they're like, well, I want to be by myself. So you move the other person somewhere, but they want to sit next to this person. Or
Chase knows this is like organizing a game night with more than 4 people.
Trying to make people happy. It's like wedding seating. Like who sits next to who, and who's going to be upset if they're in the wrong spot. I can tell you right now, I don't even know this is true. There has to at least be one level that is literally a wedding table setup. Like you're trying to make people at a wedding setup. That would have to be a true thing. So I don't know. It's
this next game, Chase, you're playing.
Well, before we move on from this one, I do want to know if Steven, if you're aware, I know it doesn't have mouse controls yet, even though it really should. Does it support touchscreen controls? Do we at least know that maybe? Because it seems like that would be an alternative to play it for the time being.
Yes, it does.
Okay. So get those fingerprints on your screens ready.
I looked them all up. It does say it on the eShop. He does use touch controls, so that's allowed.
Okay, cool.
One of the other games that would need it in this, I'll get to it, does not have touch controls, which I'm like, what? But we'll get to it when we get to it.
Okay. Yeah, because this almost seems like if you could not do that, I would actually recommend playing that game on like a Steam Deck or something. It just seems like that might be the better portable way to play it. All right, but on to our next little bit here. We've got content warning from Landfall coming 2026 for Switch 1 and 2.
And Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah, it's coming to all the consoles. This is a multiplayer game designed around filming content while exploring and trying to stay alive. And then after you die, you can show each other footage.
Lethal Company mixed with Jackass. We're playing this game. No ifs, ands, or buts. We'll play it on I will not get it for Switch because the game is so focused on having like chat to be really well done.
Yeah.
That we'll have to do it on Xbox or PlayStation. But dang, I was so happy to see this.
Was it crossplay?
That was my next question.
I don't know, but I still won't get it for Switch.
This does feel like it would be best for us to get it on like Xbox or P. I mean, we
already
have it on PC.
I'm gonna get it for something that has an established, like, really, really, really good chat with, and I already have a headset that works with it, so it's like I'll get it for those systems. But I'm happy it's coming out for consoles now.
If you have a full group playing on Switch 2, then the chat there I think would be fine. It does work really well, but if you're wanting to cross-play it all, that kind of puts them out of that playing on that. Because we don't know if they have like an integrated chat in the game. Because I don't know if this does like what the other title you were talking about does, where if one of us dies, the others can't hear them, which Discord kind of broke that.
This one, you just like Lethal Company, you have to play it with game chat because you have to have proximity.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be in a chat room because part of the recordings you're making are the game chat, because since you're trying to make a Jackass type video, you might be interviewing a monster that's trying to eat your face and stuff like that, or you might be seeing if you can blow it up with a bomb without dying or something like that, just to see how big of an explosion it makes. So there's all these different things you can do.
Why have we not played this more on PC? We haven't.
I don't know. Because
we should fix that. Let's play that tonight instead. Because
Chase is like, I don't have a PC, so
yeah, I don't have a PC.
This game looks like you can run it on a calculator. I mean, you should be fine.
And roll Galley X, it's only like $1,000.
God, yeah, that
before your Otherworld text.
We'll be talking about that later this month when Gamescom happens. We're gonna have a bunch of news later this month because of that, right there. I can tell you.
Yeah,
but yeah, content warning does look like
for games that we haven't had yet. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, that'll be kind of nice. All right. Let's go over to our next one, which is Ball X Pit from developer Digital and Kenny Sun and Friends, which I love that name. This is for Switch 1 and Switch 2, with the Switch 2 coming autumn 2025, Switch 1 October 15th. So it's a cross between a town-building RPG and a vertical shooter with a lot of balls bouncing everywhere.
Basically, it's Arkanoid meets Vampire Survivors, and it's awesome.
It looks great.
It is. I played the PC demo, and I loved it. And I was like, this game would do great with on a console, and I was like, perfect.
I kind of hope that there is, for at least this, for the different Switch or Switch 2, there's a way to play it in a vertical mode, because it just looks like it would be perfect in that vertical slice, like get that distance while you're playing the shooter. So who knows, but I am excited for that. Now, this is the game that got me stupid excited this time, and that is Ultimate Sheep Racoon. This is from Clever Endeavor Games, coming for Switch 1 and 2, winter 2025. This is the sequel to the absolutely amazing party game, Ultimate Chicken Horse. If you have not played that, get it. If there's anybody playing with you locally, that is one of the best games to play with. It's great for playing with your kids. It's great for just drinking and yelling at each other, because the entire intent is to build contraptions to both help you get to the other end and completely screw up everybody else. So if one person is just a complete a-hole, this is the game for you, because it's meant to have people do that. And
I like blocking the entrance or blowing away the block so nobody can win.
Which is great. This one, they take that concept, but they ramp it up a bunch with ramps also. There's ramps in here. But so now you're making entire levels with this, not just one area and like making a path. you're doing a whole level and then you're racing across it with these challenges or enhancements that you've put in. And they've upped it a lot. So now you can have 8 players with cross-platform for online and offline play, which is one of the biggest fixes for the old game, is the ability to play this online, because I always wanted to play it online, but couldn't. So we're getting this. I will buy it for all of us. I don't care. Like, Chase, you have a Switch. You don't have a fucking excuse. I'll pay for it. We'll find a way, even though it's really, really hard to buy shit for you down there.
I'll probably get it because I played Ultimate Chicken Horse many a times.
It's so good.
And friends, and we all died, and
we unlocked everything. Yeah,
yeah. Towards the end of game nights, before COVID and the hurricane and everything, this was one of the most popular games we played. Like, it was just, everybody loved it. We would just yell at each other while we're playing. So I was excited as hell to see this actually get announced. So yay, I'm happy. That immediately makes this a better direction for me. All right. Following that, we had Glaciered from Playisms and Studio Snowblind. This is coming winter 2025 as a Switch 2 timed console exclusive. So it's the first time that was mentioned. You play as an alien exploring the underwater world under a planet covered in ice. It looks really cool. Seems kind of like I want to say Metroidvania, but more of like a just exploration of an area. You're kind of fighting different creatures, leveling yourself up. You're a type of like avian alien, but you can operate underwater. For an indie game, it looked really good. The environments look nice, good distance on exploration. You know, it gets shadowy and dark because you're underwater and stuff, but I don't know. I want to give this one a shot. I'm hoping it gets a physical release. It seems like a type of game that you could play that way, but I might just pick it up digitally regardless.
I will say at the same time, Playism also announced that one of my favorite games, the Anomaly games that are gaining traction now, Exit 8 is getting a Switch 2 version later this year as well from Playism.
Ooh. Nice. All right. After that, we had kind of quick trailers that they went through, and I just wanted to touch on a few of these. I didn't include all of them, but we had Undusted, Letters from the Past from Toge Productions and 5 Minute Lab Corporation, October 2025 for Switch 1. This one I thought was funny because it's like a tiny version of Power Wash Simulator where you're cleaning things, but it's little things like watches and keys or Walkmans. So it's like, okay, I guess it's like just compacted power wash. I don't know. Could be fun. After that, we had Tiny Bookshop from Skystone Games and New Logic Games.
Already really popular.
Yeah, it seems like it would be. This is available now for Switch 1. You basically run a small bookshop that you can tow around and customize as you carry on. And then some point and click style gameplay as well as you explore the area and kind of run your business.
And no touchscreen.
Seriously?
Yeah, especially when you have to drag and drop books to put them in bookshelves or give them to customers.
Oh, that's even worse. Like, if you don't have mouse controls, you should at least have touchscreen.
I showed my wife the trailer and she's really excited and she's just like, does it have touchscreen? I'm like, no. So she's like, I'll buy it on Steam. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that might be, get this on the Steam Deck then, because at least then you can have mouse or touch control because they'll let you do what you want. That kills it for me.
Yeah, I was like, dang.
I thought about getting it for Amanda because as much as she loves books and things, I thought it would be interesting, but no touchscreen would probably frustrate her. Damn it. you took away my happy, Steven. You're so good at that.
Yeah.
We had Caves of Cud, or Cud, or whatever the hell they call it, from Kit Fox Games and Freehold Games.
It hurt my eyes.
Yeah, it's winter 2025 for Switch 1. It's a roguelike RPG with very early PC graphics style basic pixel art and some ASCII graphics.
It's Caves of Crud. That's what it is for me. No, thank you.
I've seen really good reviews of it, and I kind of want to try it out, but I agree. It is... People nowadays are going to look at this and like, if you get complaints about...
like a coder's dream, they're like, this thing is great.
Yeah.
Or if you bought the Commodore 64 license, you're probably really excited. But
yeah, maybe this will show up on the new Commodore 64.
I hope not.
It looks like it could, just really slowly. I mean, it looks neat. You can choose different classes and just kind of keep working your way through with stuff. But I think a lot of people are going to be in for culture shock of how games used to have to look when they had to use letters from the ASCII alphabet on a computer to make graphics, because a lot of this is going to take that into account. And most people don't understand that anymore. Before we could actually render out pixels properly. Do you guys remember what it used to be when we were kids? People would make like art out of like letters and stuff, like try and draw pictures out of it, or programs to do it.
Yeah, they still do it on GameFAQs.
I'm old. Yeah, GameFAQs was like the home of that.
They make logos of the games out of SC.
Yeah, no, I guess there is. I guess that is a place where it still lives on. That's good to know. It's not dead yet. All right, next up we had Strange Antiquities from Iceberg Interactive and Bad Viking, coming September 17th for the Switch 1. This is another point-and-click adventure about mystical items you find and explore while solving mysteries and trying to find items to basically give to customers that are asking for stuff. That's part of the mysteries you're looking into. I want to see a little bit more about this one. But if you do end up pre-ordering it, apparently they're giving a 10% discount if you pre-order it before September.
Every game has a 10% discount when it comes out, though.
Well, this is the only one I've actually seen that has it. Like, they talked about it. So I was like, all right. What's that old saying? Like, if you buy something and you say there's a warranty, but the other one doesn't say it, even though it's there, the fact you were told means more than the fact they both have it. If you don't know,
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I'm just rambling. Shut up. All right. Next, we had Opus Prism Peak, Shushia Games and Sigono, coming autumn 2025 for Switch 1 and 2. This is exploration and a photography game, so I don't give a damn. I'm getting it.
The third in the series, too.
Say what now?
There's already 2 Opus games out.
Are they all photography based?
I don't think they are.
Oh.
I think now they're finally going into photography based, but this is the first time they're in like a almost like bigger 3D type atmosphere. The other ones were a little bit more simplified pixel art, but they were still really good.
So Chase, this is kind of going into the theme you were talking about. Like, you don't play as animals, you are playing as actual people, but there's a bunch of talking animals you find.
There you go.
Hey.
So you're still playing as humans. You're just finding mystical magical animals.
That works.
So it's furry adjacent.
Yeah.
With a camera. That's the part I like. Go Town from Cult Games, Prideful Sloth. I love that name for a developer. This is coming spring 2026 for Switch 1. It's a town building game, kind of like Animal Crossing, with co-op and multiplayer support, including split screen. But you can ride vehicles around the area. They were showing people on like little carts and scooters and things. And then you can assign jobs to residents to help with growing crops, which you can do, but that's not the main part of it, or doing other jobs. It's a little more detailed of being able to go into the buildings and customize those as well, which you can do in Animal Crossing, but this one feels more like The Sims, if that makes sense. Kind of for how you just kind of peel away the house, go into it, and move things around. It's more fluid instead of going into your house in Animal Crossing, loading that up, and then changing things. I don't know. It looked cute. I don't know if I'm going to play it, but... and lastly, we had UFO 50 from Moss Mouth, as Steven talked about earlier.
Number 1.
It's available now for Switch 1. Collection of 50 retro-style minigames, which I really, really want to play these with an NES controller. I'm pretty sure we'll get to do it. I ordered the physical version of this. I got the special edition that comes with their book, which is also doubles as like an art book and a guidebook, which I kind of love the idea of an old guidebook for these 50 NES games. That just seems very fitting. Cost me like an extra $20. I think I paid $50-$60 total for it, which is not bad. Like, for the price of a game and that book.
That this game got mentioned for 5 seconds, and it was the one that people were hoping would come to Switch, and it is now the number 1 game on their charts.
I had never heard about. How long have you known about this game?
I've seen different videos of people playing it, and I've been excited, but then I've like clicked away because I don't want to see the whole game. But I've always like anybody has given it a glowing review saying finally it's coming. It's the highest recommendation I'll ever give for a game like this.
Well, I took your word for it. You kept giving a glowing recommendation, so I was like, screw it, and I bought the physical copy with all the extra stuff. I was like, all right, I trust Steven on this, even though he hates everything I love apparently. But we'll see how it goes. So, and I'm a sucker for old NES style stuff. That's what I grew up on, and it's just kind of great to see it. So definitely give this a shot. All right, well, Chase, I guess you're out of this question because you didn't watch the direct. But Steven, what would you give this a letter grade for this direct?
I actually will give this one an A because it made me forget about what was that other thing? A partner showcase. For all I'm concerned, partner showcase was like Contraband. Forgot about it, and probably half the stuff will never come out correctly. But yeah. No, this was great. This was only 15 minutes long, and it showed me so much more that I wanted.
It felt longer. Like this felt like, I know that doesn't even make sense, but it felt like it was longer than the partner direct, which was way longer. I think I'm gonna meet you there with an A on this one because I was interested in most of the games, even if they're not. I may not play all of them, but I was like, these at least look like people are trying things that are fun. But I mean, UFO 50, you've already got me to buy. And the moment that they announced Ultimate Sheep Racoon, I was just so happy. So I'll be playing a good bit of these. Mina the Hollower definitely getting. Well Dweller, I'm probably going to try. Herdling, I want to see more about. And the list goes on.
All we need now is a Nintendo Direct, and we're good.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm glad the Indie Direct got to be its own thing, because if they tried to combine
the demos they're talking about are going to be playable at Gamescom, that means we need a Nintendo Direct before Gamescom.
I wonder if we're going to get one around that time, like later this month. That kind of makes sense.
Because I know it's not in our list here, but they said that Metroid Prime 4 would be playable there, as well as Silksong. Yep. So that means you need to have a Direct Nintendo, because people shouldn't be finding out the first impressions of this from Gamescom.
Well, Microsoft announced that Silksong would be playable at their stuff at Gamescom before Nintendo did, because it was going to be on the ROG X Ally. Yeah.
Yeah, and then half of the fighting games, they said, they were like, we're going to show more at Gamescom. We're going to show more at Gamescom. So all these fighting games are going to have more at Gamescom too.
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious with Silksong. We'll ask all three of us if we think at Gamescom, do you think they're going to shadow drop it finally? Chase, what do you think?
I don't think so.
Because they said it's going to release day and date with the ROG Ally X for a grand. So.
Well, they said it'll be playable when that's out, but it doesn't mean it doesn't come out before
They're probably going to match it day and date for all I know. So. Or they'll make a deal saying it's playable day one on ROG Ally X.
I mean, Microsoft can use that marketing money because they're sure as hell not using it for development.
Yeah, they got a tax write-off from Avalanche, so we're good.
Microsoft's becoming the Warner Brothers of game development. They're going to announce it, cancel it, and pack it away.
Give it to Ketchup Entertainment.
Yeah, they could probably make better games than they could. All right, let's move on because I know I sound bitter. All right, so moving on from annoying, talking about Microsoft stuff after that direct, moving on to Nintendo's love of childhood. Nintendo
More
making
stuff to buy.
Yeah. I was like, this is cute until they said the word amiibo, and I was like, God damn it. So Nintendo is making a push for a younger audience with preschool age toys that launch in Japan for now on August 26th. Select items will be released outside of Japan sometime next year in 2026, but they have not announced exactly what will. But this will include a wooden block toy set that are also amiibos. Damn it. If those released in the US, I have to get them to finish my set. Yeah, go to sleep there, Chase. I don't care.
The board book is, I saw more pictures of that. It's also amazing.
Just got a screenshot with your nose in that view there, buddy.
Because the board book is actually kind of like a, what do you call it? It's those hard books, so it's hard to crease them.
Yeah.
But each page is basically like a Mario 64 intro screen. You get to spin Mario's head, you get to open his mouth, take off his hat. There's just like, you get to stretch his face, and I was just like, that's gonna be awesome.
For little kids, stuff like that makes sense. And it's at least it's kind of neat that they're doing it. But yeah, there's the board books. There's a new kid-focused Mario app for the Switch and smartphones, which also does a lot of what you talked about, where the kids can swipe around the screen and like bounce Mario's head around or stretch it. And
day one download for me.
You just sit there and mess with Mario's face. I've been doing that on the DS and 64 for decades. There will also be stop motion Mario videos released on the app's website for kids to watch as well, which I did get to see what Mario looks like in those, and it's cute. It's just like little claymation Mario. It's the style of it, like Mario's design, feels a lot like he did in Mario Wonder, with that kind of feel for the animated look. So I wonder if that's a thing they're sticking with. The blocks will come in 2 sets, one with a few figures, the other with a full set of items, which the figures will include Mario, Luigi, Toad, Yoshi, and Peach. And then the items will include question blocks, green pipes, music blocks, fire flower, a brick block, and more. Like, they had a couple different ones that they showed there.
I only have one concern.
This is going to be expensive. Like 100.
No, not even that, really.
Mm.
My concern is because they're amiibos and it's for small children, is unless there's like kind of like the 3DS had where it had its own little reader.
Uh-huh.
People are little kids, when they're like, hey, this can unlock stuff on your game, they'll slam the wooden block down on the Joy-Con. If you thought you had Joy-Con drift before, just you wait until somebody bashes a block into your system.
Or some kid misses and goes right into your screen. And I guess that's how they get you to buy more Switch 2s. They're just trying to work those numbers up.
That's a pretty good idea, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably be mostly for Switch 1. I know they're supporting that, which is the cheaper, was cheaper since the price went up. They could use that to get that last little bit for those sales numbers. They're moving into the toddlers, guys. Getting them to buy Switches.
It's just like you're going to have to wrangle them out of your kids' hands, and then they'll watch you put it on the controller, and it'll unlock something on their screen, and then they'll be like, give me that.
Yes. At that point, sacrifice a Pro Controller, let them hit that. Those can take a hit. Because you hit in the middle. They can take it. So... All right, so we'll move on from Nintendo, working with kids to Nintendo taking things away from kids, according to people. So I have been in talks with people for a good couple of days about this topic, and it's been absolutely aggravating because I've been accused of like, oh, you're just fanboying for Nintendo or you're an apologist or everything. And I'm like, no, this is called reading comprehension. You could read it and understand shit. And that's apparently
Everybody reported on it
difficult. Oh God. Yes. Like I even saw one today, a video get put out that completely took this at the worst
all they're
way.
saying is they're yanking away games from charity events. I was like,
right.
No.
So RTA, Japan's largest speedrunning event, has removed Nintendo games from this year's event after Nintendo contacted them. So what happened with this? RTA is kind of like Games Done Quick. That's actually what inspired them to do this. The difference is Games Done Quick is not a corporation, but RTA became a legal entity or a corporation in 2020. Once you get into that, the rules change for what you're allowed to do. That's the case for anything. So Nintendo stated that because they are now a legal entity, they have to ask permission for each Nintendo title they want to showcase. They're not saying they can't use them. It's just, hey, you have to get clearance. And people are just going like, oh, this is Nintendo controlling this stuff. They're taking it away. They've been using it for years. Well, Nintendo already started the process to get approval for the games, or RTA already started with it. And Nintendo is helping them. But since it stated the process wouldn't be done before this year's events, RTA decided to remove the Nintendo games from being played this year. They couldn't do it in time. And Nintendo had to state that the last couple of years, those were used illegally. They were not supposed to be there. They were unapproved. And a lot of people, like you said, are freaking out saying like, oh, they're taking this away from a charity group. They do good things and raise money for like kids and stuff like that. And that's great. But like they're writing so many articles claiming that, or videos and other things. They're kind of not looking at the fact that Nintendo and many companies in Japan and other countries require other corporations specifically to get permission before using their IP, because the company wants to know what they're being used to represent, as well as if it's something they don't agree with for a charity or event, they have the ability to say no. And the reason for that is they give, and this is, I know it's complicated for people to understand sometimes, but on a legal standpoint, if you give a group as a company to another company blanket right to just use their stuff, be it a charity you like, without any written permission or any of the extra steps, another company can turn around, use their stuff, and say they're wanting to, like, we're running a charity to beat dogs to death that we find. Like, that's our charity. We're going to do that. And then we're going to take food from people or whatever. And they could turn around in court and go, no, you said that charity, they had a blanket allowance. You're just letting people use it for charity events. Well, our charity, we're doing the same thing. That's what they're trying to stop them from doing. So they're fine with RTA using the games. They're just like, hey, you just have to follow this process. That's all we ask.
We're killing children's charities.
Right. And people are taking this to the extreme.
Terrorists.
Feels like it. So I was like, I want to at least talk about this on the show a little bit, because I've already gotten some of the most ridiculous responses to this. And I've been called so many things, which is hilarious to me. I don't know. I wanted to get y'all's thought on this as well. Chase, I know you've been kind of looking at this like, what the fuck's going on?
I could care less.
What was your thought on it?
I mean, it makes sense what they're doing. Like,
yeah.
In case anybody hasn't noticed already, like, if you're gonna find a company that's overly protective of their IPs, pretty much insert any Japanese company here is going to be overly protective of their IPs. Like just
Toho even.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's pretty standard. It's pretty stock and standard. Like, I don't really have a problem with it personally.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you're a Nintendo super fan, and that means you're also a Godzilla super fan. You're a Disney super fan, because they're all protective.
Yeah, and Nintendo did not take the games away from them. RTA said, hey, we can't get the paperwork done in time. We're just going to go ahead and remove them for this year just to make things easier and bring them back later. So they're getting it done to do it in the future and to get approval for their previous uses so they don't lose those or have them copyright striked or whatever. Because if Nintendo, their legal side doesn't always talk with the rest of the company when they do stuff. No, most of the legal departments don't. They just act because that's what they're paid to do. They're lawyers,
Ninjas.
Yeah, they're ninjas. My bad.
Lawyer ninjas.
The Nintendo ninjas.
Nintendo ninjas. Yeah.
So it's just have reading comprehension. Like, don't people put up these articles with these, everything that's stating the worst possible thing they can think of, and not actually, even in their articles, they explain it better. Like, what you're putting here is, inflammatory.
It's the same people that when that guy got his system banned for playing a game that was used most likely through MIG Flash, that everybody made videos and articles saying, like, Nintendo is blocking you from buying used games.
Yeah, for the one case.
And I was just like, that's clickbait, because that's not true.
And I think that's just the frustration of it. It's like, I'm spending this time explaining this to people, going like, this is not actually the case.
Just, next time that happens, Jeremy, just use the animated GIF of Tom Hardy going, "Nuh-uh, that's bait."
Yeah.
I should, but people are just aggravating with this.
Don't try to reason with people on the internet either. You're wasting your time. Like,
reading comprehension and logic. What the hell are you doing? So yeah, it's not the end of the world, people. Nintendo is not taking things from children. This is because RTA is even just like, yeah, okay, our bad. We'll fix it. We're doing the stuff. We're good. They're not even charging them money for this. They're just like, hey, fill out these forms and we're good. That's it. It's the corporate version of you having a roommate and going, hey, just ask me before you use my stuff, please. Like, that milk had my name on it. Please don't use it unless I say you can.
I pissed in that milk.
What the Okay.
That's what everybody else is saying.
Oh,
pissed in everybody's milk.
God, moving on. That's hilarious. All right, so Digital Foundry has become independent from their recent parent company, IGN. IGN acquired Digital Foundry when they've recently purchased the Gamer Network in May 2024, which contains several European sites, including Digital Foundry, who was part of Eurogamer. The staff now consists of Richard Ledbetter, Will Judd, John Lineman, Oliver McKenzie, Tom Morgan, Alex Battaglia, and Audi Sorley. Yeah, sorry. Richard Ledbetter was the founder of Digital Foundry, took the opportunity to buy out about 50% of the company's outstanding shares with the help of investor Rupert Lohman, who was the co-founder of Eurogamer. After the IGN, purchase, they had that chance to do it. And as part of the deal, the whole back catalog of Eurogamer's Digital Foundry posts and content will also belong to them. So they can use their old videos and things like that as well. And they're working to build a whole new website for themselves with all funding coming directly from their Patreon. So they can kind of do what they want. I know they're going to be focusing, as they said, more on retro reviews of things, as well as more PC coverage for a lot of stuff. I know it's kind of gone back and forth for some of their love or hate for different consoles. So we'll see how that goes. But it's at least nice to see a group go independent rather than be shut down or kind of run into the ground by somebody else absorbing them. So that's something, I guess. So good for them, I guess. All right, let's go over to the speed run. All right, well, the PS3's online store is currently down with no warning or update from Sony, leaving some to wonder if the service has been quietly shut down. Sony tried to shut down the PS3 and Vita stores back in 2021 before getting a lot of backlash from people and then backing down on the decision. Right now, it's still listed as down for maintenance, but Sony has not made any statements or updates about this. So if you're still playing the PS3 or the Vita, well, I guess the Vita still...
I want to play Mag, dang it. Or at least
that was a fun game back in the day.
Or at least a game of Warhawk. God dang it.
I actually did like Warhawk a little bit, but...
Warhawk was good. Mag was fun. I liked Mag. I liked the idea of Mag.
I didn't play it much. I think I tried it.
It was a good idea. It was a good concept. It just they need somebody with a little bit more money and like online shooter know-how to actually do it.
They just need to port Pain, and then PS3 can die.
I love Pain. That was such a fun game. That would have been a good port to a VR system. I think that would have been a great fit for that. So, Hulu will officially be removed from the US as the content is completely absorbed into Disney Plus in 2026. Disney is also acquiring the rights to WWE's PLEs to put on their ESPN streaming service instead of Peacock. And this is the case for most of the world already in regards to the Hulu being part of Disney Plus thing. So a lot of other countries are...
So just to recap, fellas, if you like your WWE, because they sold that to Disney for a couple billion, actually. If you want to watch Raw, that's on Netflix. If you want to watch SmackDown, that's on Peacock. And then if you want to watch their premium live events, that's going to now be on ESPN streaming service, which is $30 a month.
Jeez.
Yay. So if you dare like WWE, you have to get 3 streaming services to catch everything.
And I was complaining about the fact I had to go to another streaming service to finish the TV series. I had it so nice compared to this. Thankfully, I already at least paid for Paramount Plus, so I could just watch the last season. Jesus, that's a lot. Back to Nintendo stuff. Nintendo has filed a patent for both a crank attachment and scroll wheel attachment for the Switch 2 Joy-Cons. The designs seem to be using the mechanics of an optical encoder by using the mouse sensor found on each Joy-Con. So
I already know what they should make.
Say what?
I said I already put on Blue Sky what they should make now.
It's a fishing game, right?
No, that's gross. I
would love a new Sega Bass Fishing. Come on.
I said I want Zack and Wiki 2.
Okay.
Using the crank and scroll, and they should do a partnership with Playdate and bring the entire Playdate catalog to Switch 2.
I think I already made that joke online talking about the
crank, because I was like, that's perfect.
I love how people are like, oh, Nintendo should get sued. They're stealing it from Playdate. It's like, you guys realize how long crank mechanics have been in games, right? Like, it's been
the fishing
a
rod.
long time. Hell, even before the fishing rod, there was games that had a version of that. But
before then, we used to just crank, you know?
There's a dick joke, masturbation joke for this week. All right. We'll get you there, folks.
Edging.
I know exactly how that sounded. For somebody listening that's just really messed up, that was the last thing they needed. So anyways, the crank uses the mouse sensor, and as the disc goes by, there's a series of open slots and then closed ones. And that's how it tells which direction it's actually moving. Yeah, fingers touching. I don't care.
Sword fight. Okay.
God, this is getting weird.
This latter half has been rated R.
Most of the show is rated R. I just gave up on even trying to be clean about it anymore. So yeah, I just want to see what they're doing with it and what it'll be in a next WarioWare game. That's all I care about, because that will be fun. Lastly, Doom: The Dark Ages has received a new Riptorium update, which adds in a new endless arena mode called the Riptorium, new combat enhancements for Dragon, Atlan, and Slayer, plus full campaign balance changes and refinements. The Riptorium level, you can actually choose how many enemies are coming at you, like what combination of different types out of all of them, up to, I think, 60 at a time, is I believe the max it had listed there, but that could be 60 of the biggest, craziest shit coming at you. And they'll just keep coming in waves. You just survive as long as you can, which sounds oddly fun. Like, I think I would enjoy that. And lastly, you can get a free QuakeCon 2025 Doom Slayer skin by playing Doom: The Dark Ages anytime between now and September 1st with a linked Bethesda.net account. And you'll receive the new skin in about 48 hours. So, free extras if you've already done the Bethesda account. Why not?
Free stuff.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get back and play some more of Doom: The Dark Ages anyway, so pretty good reason to do it. All right, let's move over to the big question for this week. So I came up with this earlier and kind of just wanted to discuss it with you guys, but with the recent independence of Digital Foundry from both Eurogamer and IGN, looking back at their history and content, do you feel they have been a benefit or hindrance to the understanding and community in the world of gaming as a whole? Which, this should be a fun chat.
So in other words, do we like them or do we not like them?
See?
Yeah, that's part of it, but also just kind of like, you can like them but have issues with some things. I don't know.
I have a feeling what Jeremy's answer is going to be.
Oh, I'm curious on this. I almost want to hear what you think my answer is going to be.
I don't like them. That's what I was thinking. But yeah.
Actually, that's not the answer. So,
oh, okay. I'm surprised.
We'll get into it. I could be more nuanced than that. There's parts of it, but we'll see. Stephen, we'll start with you because I know you've got a very complicated answer, probably.
No change. 6 out of 10. No.
Lost in the fold.
They went independent. Forgot who they were.
So, there's some things that I'll give them because they're still one of the only ones that, other than GameSack, I will say, that actually really tear down hardware and really delve into options and stuff. But as far as their comparisons are concerned now, everybody seems to have, especially with the Switch 2, playing Switch 1 games, everybody has access to frame date data and frame delay data on screen. Everybody knows how to use it, so they're not breaking any ground there. It is nice to see their retro reviews because I really like their Road Rash one. It actually gave me some Road Rash games I didn't know that I've been looking for now because I wanted to get them all, and they gave me subtle differences. So it's right in the middle because in the beginning I would have said if they got independence right away, then I'd be like, oh, they're pioneers. But at this point, there's a lot of people just who can do their content as well. So I don't know exactly what they sometimes bring to the table. Other than when they're trying to do a comparison, they'll have 2 or 3 people argue over a game, or they make the Sony guys happy because they're like, this Baldur's Gate has better shadows on PS5, so get the PS5 version, everybody. So, or they'll be like, our copy of Baldur's Gate on Xbox froze and deleted our game, and I was just like, well, I'm not buying on Xbox then because I don't want my game frozen or deleted. So
Okay.
hopefully,
Mhm.
since they're doing stuff through Patreon, hopefully this doesn't mean that eventually they're going to have sponsored posts or anything like that where they don't get any allegations of being paid off by big companies to be like, this thing's great.
Now they're being paid off by their own fans.
Because I still love Artings, the website artings.com. They do fantastic TV and audio reviews, because even when they do TV reviews, they leave it on for hours to tell you how the burn-in is. Like, nobody really goes into that, or they'll say what the viewing angles when they stop being perfect. It's that uniqueness that nobody's done in a while. So as long as they don't get too lackadaisical, I think we'll be all right. But other than that, I don't see them as a hindrance. They've overall been a benefit, because they brought content that people wanted to see. It's not just a console war video where you're saying like, this one has smoother frame rate. You're actually going into a lot more things. You're going into the nitty gritty, which is a lot better. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
That's funny. Your cat walked right in front of your mic and you got real quiet. I was like, what the hell with the audio? I look up and there's your cat, and I went, oh, he's talking through the cat. Cat is adorable, though. All right, Steven, what about, Chase, what about you?
Again. Okay.
I was thinking Steven because he's there holding up a cat. It's not fair. It's distracting.
All right, me next. Okay.
You next.
Go
deep. Deep into this one.
You know me. I always go deep. 2
Whoa.
inches. Okay. That was my dick joke for the day. I've never really thought of them in a poor way. Like, I've never thought of them in a bad way. I mean, I've watched them. I usually watch them when they do comparisons of things, and they but for me, I guess the issue is, I guess I don't necessarily know if they're like shilling out for anybody. Like, I don't necessarily think that, for instance, like Swan's example, just because they say the shadows are better on Baldur's Gate 3 for the PlayStation version, is that objectively the truth? If they're telling you objective truths, then that's not, I don't think that's a bad thing. If they say, in our experience, Baldur's Gate crashed and deleted our game on this console, that's, it's a truth.
Yeah. They've had bad timing on some things that have gotten fixed, but then their videos are old data. So
right.
So, I mean, and to be fair though, you could always argue that anecdotal evidence isn't necessarily, representative of all data, but yeah, like I like some of the videos, like where they break down stuff. Like, I watched their videos when they were breaking down the PS5 Pro, when that got announced, and it was kind of interesting because they were questioning the whole reason why Sony decided to make a PlayStation 5 with a bigger and better GPU, when they said most of the games that are on PS5 don't actually push the GPU to the limits. So they questioned really the need for that. It was like, if anything that developers are having trouble with, it's the CPU. And they decided to not upgrade that. So they've been critical of people's decisions, like developers' decisions and stuff in the past. And like, I was excited when we all got Space Marine 2 on Xbox, because they actually said the Xbox version ran the smoothest. They said that like, especially in that scene where where I think Jeremy had the flamethrower, they said with all those little things scurrying around on the floor, the PS5 just was like, what the fuck is going on? So yeah, I don't know that I think that they're a hindrance. I don't really watch a lot of their retro stuff as much as probably you guys do, so probably there's something maybe there that I'm missing.
Actually, you should watch the retro stuff. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat.
But like, overall, I think that Overall, I just think that if they're giving you objectively correct information, then at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
If they're giving you, if all of a sudden they're like telling you objectively flawed, or like if they're telling you like flawed information to make one thing sound better than the other, then that's where obviously there'd be a huge problem, and I would call them a hindrance, because now you're lying to promote something. But yeah, I don't know. I've always enjoyed their content though.
Okay. So for me, like, I kind of have to view it as Digital Foundry themselves, some of the content they make or opinions they have, and the effect on the public that they've had. That's kind of how I break it down to those 3 parts. Digital Foundry themselves have been absolutely great. I am a technically minded person for a lot of stuff, and I love, like you're talking about when they break down hardware. Like, they were one of the first groups that got to tear apart the Series X, and they're looking at the parts of it, and Microsoft even invited them in to look at it and see how it's built, and they've broken down old systems and things like that. I love that stuff because that is a technical truth of what they're going through, and they kind of have fun going, hey, we tried to build this little computer as close as we could to what we think the tech specs are for the Switch 2 back then. And they were trying to see what it could do. And, they were being speculative, but doing it in a fun way and trying to be as accurate as they could. I never think that they're trying to be skewed one way or the other. I want to make that clear on that one. I don't think they are. Sometimes you feel like it is, and that could be personal bias versus other stuff. And it can also be their personal biases for individuals. It is a group of people. Your personalities come into it. Just like on here, I'm going to enjoy something. Steven's going to hate it. That's just how everything works. Jace just takes a nap. Oh, so, from that aspect of it, I've always liked Digital Foundry, and I do like for the content and stuff they've made, like John Linneman's breakdowns for like retro stuff. He talked about, the one he did for Road Rash, the ones they've done. I think he did one not too long ago for like Double Dragon. They did one for Doom that was really good. It's kind of fun having them go through those kind of explanations and breakdowns, and they can talk about how the games were being developed and made at those times and interviews with people, which is really good. The 2 parts that I don't like in regards to Digital Foundry is sometimes personal bias does get in the way in part of it. Not so much of a breakdown, but like they've got at least one person, I'm not going to go naming names, but like absolutely cannot and does not like anything Switch related. They think it's just absolutely pointless. They don't even want to talk about it. Like, it just kind of feels like, oh, you're slumming it if you're playing those systems. And it's like, there's a lot of people, like a literal record breaking amount of people that play these and enjoy them. Like, don't shit on someone else's fun, Like, I get it. They're not going to run to this perfect level of what you want. And you're trying to compare it to computers that cost thousands of dollars, that there's people that cannot legitimately afford to get that kind of hardware, to be able to play it to the levels they want. And they point out like, oh, PC gaming is cheaper. Yeah, but you're not playing to this high-end level you're talking about where you were given brand new graphics cards. That gets a little iffy, but that's not all the time. But the other thing is when they do a lot of these comparisons and they get so nitty-gritty, some people have learned like how these things work, which is great. Others have used this as a fuel for a lot of arguments for years now of, well, your system sucks because I get this many more frames, or, your PlayStation sucks because your reflection in water on Spider-Man wasn't right, or, whatever else in there.
Yeah, but you can't use what the internet does. You can't use what some fucking idiots do on the internet as like, oh, their content's bad though.
Well, I'm not saying their content's bad. It's just they've kind of fueled that for a while of focusing. Like, they get so nitty gritty with some stuff where people are arguing over just a couple frames a second or little things like that. And you play the game most of the time, I'm like, I don't even notice. Like, I'm just playing it and it's fine. And I'm not saying that's directly their fault. It's just that's kind of a occurrence in regards or an after effect based on pushing that as such an important thing for a lot of the breakdowns and comparisons and things. Cause you can have a technical view of it. And I think it was more interesting back when systems were a little more different, like when they were doing late 360 PS3 or Xbox One and PS4, like you could see differences and they would acknowledge like, these are still fun to play, but like this is how this one handles it differently compared to that. And now we've become so homogenized with like PS5 and Series X and most PC. It's just nitpicky to a point, and that fuels the wrong audience. Like we get it, but the wrong people run with it, and it's just aggravating. Go ahead, Stephen. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say the worst thing that they can do with this announcement, which I hope doesn't happen, is my hope is that they stay the course. They do what's been working for them. They go with that, and their website just is like a archive and treasure trove of stuff. What I don't want them to do is try too many new things or try to go in a different route. And I'm going to give examples of other YouTube channels that weren't part of bigger websites, but they were big in their own right. You don't want to be like the React guys and try to, and like if, say, Digital Foundry starts to try to patent frame rate videos saying only we can do them or something like that, that would be detrimental. And I also don't want them, especially since they're doing a lot of funding through Patreon, I don't want them to go the Try Guys route and suddenly be like, we're locking a lot of our content away and we're moving our content to a different streaming service. Like there's bad things that can happen when you have complete independence. And there's good things too, but I'm just hoping that they stay the course and they don't try to be like, we'll become Digital Foundry 2.0. I'll be like, don't do that. Don't do that.
I think, all right. So for those 2 points, I think there's actually good arguments in their defense on that. The first one is I don't think they're going to sue anybody over that because they actually made videos showing people how they do it and how to get the hardware and tech and the software. And they were like, we want to teach you how to do it so you could do it yourself. And I was like, all right, cool. I like that. That's nice. One thing I like about the engineering side of a lot of things or looking at this, thankfully, most people in that field like to teach people. They like to share what they're doing. They don't want to just hold it themselves. Like they're putting in their thoughts and process into it. And they do have a professionalism of that a lot of people don't have, but they're not afraid to show you the tools, which is great. The second thing is their Patreon. They've been really good about using that as like, you want the super high resolution lossless video that you have to host somewhere else.
And that's fine.
That's what you get on there and things like that. And sometimes they just take their ads out. Like they'll have a couple ads in there for something,
or
whatever.
Even early access, that's fine.
Right.
Don't lock anything.
I'm thankfully not worried about that. But back to my other stuff, I said like with the issues with it, Chase, I completely get it's not them directly. I'm just saying as an effect on some groups that has come up a lot, and a lot of people like to reference it. And how that information's out there and being used is not their fault. I get
it's
that.
Not
it's
their
just,
intention to do that. It's just idiots on the internet who can't help themselves.
I knew somebody who took whatever game theory said as law, and I was like, it's literally in the name theory. So no, I don't agree with it. So the end. And I was like, don't take it as like biblical scripture saying this is the way it must be. It's like, no, that's somebody's interpretation. Like it may be different for you. They're giving you the most technical they can while only showing their own personal bias, but not to the fact that it should affect your purchasing decision.
Yeah.
But other people are saying, well, this guy, since he's like the premier guy, like I trust him only. And I'm like, well, maybe you should just keep an open mind.
And like, I may not agree with all the theories or thoughts they have on stuff, but I mean, not everyone agrees with mine either. That's fine. That's the right for us to have them. I don't want us all to agree on stuff. That's boring as shit. And that's why I wanted to clarify earlier the breakdown between the people, the content, and the community, because the community is a part of it, but not directly their fault. They're not going out and telling people, this game is 5 FPS faster. Give them hell. They're never saying that. I've never once heard any of them, even the ones that are not fans of like the Switch and stuff like that. He just says he doesn't want to talk about it. And I'm like, okay, like it feels a little shitty, but it's also, you're right to have the thoughts of that, but you're not attacking these people. So that's a whole different thing. I get that. So I think as a whole, Digital Foundry is still a very good thing for gaming and learning about this stuff. I've learned so many terms on the side of how games are made that I did not know before watching their stuff. Just straight up. They've also broken how I look at some games in my damn brain. Different kind of reflections. I see that shit. I'm like, oh God, I notice it now. I'm like, damn it. So like screen space reflection, damn it. I never even thought about it before most of the time. And they kept pointing it out for like, you move the camera and it disappears. And I'm like, well, that's stuck. I see it every time now. It doesn't upset me. It's just kind of funny that I notice it whenever I'm playing something. And it's kind of neat knowing that part of how, reflections work and lighting and different engines. And like I said, if nothing else, Chase, you really should go back to the DF Retro specific ones. Those are all really entertaining, and you do learn a lot for the development of different series. Wipeout is another really good one they did that covered all the versions of Wipeout ever made. Loved that one. So, yep. So we're not crapping on Digital Foundry. We think they're good. I just wanted to have that discussion. I thought it'd be a fun one.
Yeah. It's the 70-20-10 rule. Like,
oh, okay. What's that?
70% of people that watch, say for instance, watch Digital Foundry or do really anything, they are just normal people. They watch it. They're like, oh, that's cool. And then they just do whatever they want anyway.
Right.
There's 20% that maybe are influenced slightly by it because maybe they're like enthusiasts or whatever. And they're like, oh, nope, I got to have the best shadows. This is where I'm going now. Whatever. Right. Okay, fine. And then there's the 10% that are like, what? PlayStation's got better shadows. Fuck you, Xbox people. And then they're the problem people. We need to stop listening to the 10%.
It's not so much I'm trying to listen to them. It's just, oh my God, they talk a lot. Like you just run into it all the time and you're like, come on.
Yeah,
like,
unfortunately, they're the most vocal people. That's the problem.
Yes. And like I said, to make it clear, I'm not blaming Digital Foundry for that. I'm not saying it is their fault. It is a byproduct of something they cannot control. They put out the information. Idiots are using it in a stupid way. So that's kind of what I meant about like a hindrance to the community, not so much of them directly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't want it to be like, I hate these people. I'm actually fine with it. I like a lot of what they do. I really like when they show up in other groups' videos too. Like they're very good about working with other YouTubers and things like that. Like My Life in Gaming, GameSack, stuff like that. They do a lot of stuff with them, which is fun and actually educational about stuff and explaining things. So yeah, hopefully more of that now that they're independent is honestly what I would like to see. So, all right. Well, that's the wrong one. I keep hitting the button and it changes that. So, all right. I guess that kind of wraps it up for tonight. I think this has been a pretty good show. Thankfully, we haven't taken as long as we have recently, but all right. Well, this has been episode 183 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast. I've been your host, Jeremy Powers, joined once again by Steven and Chase, and we're out. Peace.
We all agree Skull and Bones sucks.
It does. We do all agree. This has been a production of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast by the staff at zenspath.com. The show is created and edited by Jeremy Powers. You can find the video edition of the show on our YouTube channel at ZenspathCom. The audio edition is located wherever you find your podcasts. Links to all versions of the show, as well as to our Discord where you can talk with us directly, is located at www.zenspath.com. Please leave us a like, thumbs up, comment, and review where you can to help us grow.